C. Rajagopalachari. Edited by Jamazo, American Gita Society. Rama leaves home. King Dasharatha received Viswamitra as Indra would welcome Brahma, and touching his feet, the king said, "I am indeed blessed among men. Your coming can only be due to the merit of my ancestors. Like the morning sun that dispels the darkness of night, your face brings joy to my sight. My heart is full. Born a king, you have become through tapas a Brahma Rishi. And you yourself have come seeking my dwelling. Is there anything in my power that I can do for you? If so, command and I shall obey." Viswamitra was rejoiced to hear these words of Dasharatha, and his face brightened. He said, "O king, your words are worthy of you. Born in the Ikshvaku line, with Vasishtha for your guru, what else could you say? You have said yes before I asked. This fills my heart with joy." And he straightway explained the purpose of his visit. Viswamitra said, "I am engaged in performing a sacrifice. As it nears completion, two powerful Rakshasas, Marija and Subahu, defile it. They shower unclean blood and flesh on the sacred fire. Like other rishis we could curse and destroy them. But that would be a waste of all our tapas. Our troubles will end if you send with me Rama, the eldest of your warlike sons. Under my care, he will grow in princely stature. He will surely defeat these Rakshasas and his name will gather luster. Entrust Rama to my care only for a few days. Do not refuse my request. Fulfill the promise you gave me unsought. Of Rama's safety you need have no anxiety. You will earn undying fame in the three worlds. Vasishtha and your ministers will agree with what I say." Dasharatha trembled with fear and anxiety. He had a hard choice to make. Either to give his well-beloved son to be killed by the Rakshasas or himself incurs the terrible anger of Viswamitra. For a few moments, Dasharatha stood speechless, for he was stunned and bewildered. But recovering from the shock, he begged the sage not to press his demand, and said, "Rama is not yet fully 16 years of age. How can he fight with Rakshasas? Of what use is it to send him with you? What does he know of the wiles of Rakshasas? It is not right that I should send a mere lad to fight them. I am here, and my army is ready to march. How can a lad protect you and your yaga? Tell me all about your foes. I shall go with you at the head of my army and do your bidding and serve your need. Do tell me about these desecrators." Viswamitra described Marija and Subahu and Ravana their master. And he demanded again that Rama should be sent along with him. Dasharatha persisted in refusal. "Parting from Rama will be death to me," he said. "I shall go with you, I and my army." "Why, it seems to me the task proposed is pretty hard even for me. How then can my son cope with it? Indeed, I cannot send him. If you please, I am ready with my army." Dasharatha's attempt to go back on his hasty word enraged Viswamitra. The king's pleas and reasons were like oil poured on the fire of his anger. "This conduct is unworthy of your lineage," the sage said. "Tell me if this is your final word." "I shall go back the way I came. Long may you live with your kith and kin, having swerved from the path of truth." The earth quaked and the gods were afraid of the possible consequences of the sage's wrath. Vasishtha now turned to the king and spoke gently. "It ill becomes you, king, to refuse having promised once. Born in the Ikshvaku line, you cannot do it. Having once said, 'I will do,' you have no option but to do it. Failing, you will lose the merit of all your great gifts and deeds. Send Rama with the sage, and send Lakshmana too. You need have no fear for their safety. When they are protected by Viswamitra, no Rakshasa can hurt them. As the drink of the gods, shielded by the wheel of fire, so will Rama be by Viswamitra. You have no idea of Viswamitra's power. He is tapas in human form. Bravest of the brave and wisest of the wise, he is master of every weapon. In the three world there is not, and there will never be, any to equal him in martial or spiritual prowess. When he was king he obtained from the gods mastery of all weapons. He beholds the past, the present and the future. Then why does he want the princes, you may wonder? He can well take care himself of his yaga. But it is for the good of your sons that he has come here and appears to seek your help. Do not hesitate. Send your sons with him. Listening to the wise Vasishtha, Dasharatha saw things clearly and made up his mind to send Rama and Lakshmana. The two princes were then brought to the presence of the sage. The king, the queen mothers and Vasishtha blessed them and sent them with Viswamitra. A pleasant breeze wafted and flowers were strewn by the denizens of the heavens. Auspicious sounds were heard. Bow in hand, the two lads strode proudly on either side of the sage. Valmiki and Kamban revel in this picture of the two handsome princes marching out to their first adventure under the guardianship of a great rishi who had also been a renowned warrior, a teacher who could create a new world. And beside him, head erect, two princely pupils born to end the Rakshas race. With swords of victory hanging from their waists, bows and quivers mounted on strong shoulders, they moved, each like a three-headed cobra with uplifted hood. Rama slay the monsters. Viswamitra and the two princes spent the night on the bank of the river Sarayu. Before retiring, Viswamitra initiated the princes in two secret mantras, Bala and Ati-Bala, which had the virtue of guarding them from fatigue and harm. They slept on the verdant bank that night and rising at dawn proceeded on their journey. They reached Kamashrama in Angadisa. After presenting the princes to the rishis there, Viswamitra recounted to them the history of the ashrama. This, he said, is the place where the Lord Shiva was long engaged in austerities. It was here that the foolish god of love Manmathu aimed his arrow at Shiva and was turned to ashes by his wrath. Hence this place is known as Kamashrama. They were the guests of the rishis that night, and the following morning, after performing the usual rites, the sage and his pupils set out on their journey and reached the Ganga. They crossed the river on a raft got ready for them by the rishis. In midstream, the princes heard a noise and asked Viswamitra what it could be. He explained to them that it was the sound of the Sarayu flowing into the Ganges. The princes paid silent homage to the confluence of the two holy rivers. A river or a hill, a tree or a cloud, indeed any object of beauty may raise one to contemplation of the Supreme Being and silent worship of Him. In particular, sacred rivers, temples or images, which have for generations been the objects of devotion and worship, possess this power in a special degree, in virtue of the sacred thoughts they have witnessed and absorbed as garments retain perfumes. Having crossed the Ganga, Viswamitra and the princes made their difficult way through a dense forest made dreadful by the reverberating roar of wild beasts. This, Viswamitra said, is the Dandaka forest. What is now a terrible forest was once a well-peopled country. Once upon a time, Indra was contaminated by sin, having killed Vritra, and had therefore to exile himself from the world of the Devas. The Devas set to themselves the task of cleansing Indra. They brought waters from the sacred rivers and bathed him to the accompaniment of mantras. The waters which cleansed Indra flowed into the ground and enriched the earth, and the land became tremendously fertile. All dead things, rotting corpse or stinking garbage, when returned to the earth are transformed into things of beauty such as fruits and flowers and the whole things that nourish life. Such is the alchemy of Mother Earth. Viswamitra continued. For long, people lived here happily till Thetaka, wife of Sanda, a Yakshur, and her son Marija wrought havoc and changed this into the dreadful wilderness it now is. They are still in this forest, and none dare enter it for fear of Thetaka. She is equal in strength to a score of elephants. I have brought you here to rid the forest of this great enemy. There is no doubt that this monster, who is a source of trouble to the rishis, will be destroyed by you. Rama, who listened to this, asked the sage. You say she is a Yakshur. I have never heard that Yakshas are particularly strong. What is more, how does a woman happen to possess so much strength? Viswamitra replied. You are asking a very pertinent question. Her strength comes from a boon granted by Brahma. There lived a Yakshur by name Sukhitu. Having no progeny, he performed tapas and won a boon from Brahma thus. You will have a beautiful daughter of great strength of body, but you will have no son. Sukhitu's daughter, Thetaka, beautiful and strong, was married to Sanda, a Yakshur, and their child is Marija. Sanda at one time incurred sage Agastya's curse and died. Provoked by this, Thetaka and Marija pounced on Agastya, who cursed them to be monsters living on the carcasses of men. So Thetaka is now an ugly monster. Thenceforward, she and Marija have been harassing the dwellers in this region of Agastya. Do not hesitate to destroy her on the ground that it is against Kshatriya Dharma to kill a woman. Her atrocities are intolerable. To punish the wicked, whether male or female, is the duty of kings. It is right to kill her, as to kill a wild animal for the sake of human safety. This is a duty cast on rulers. Many women have been punished with death for their crimes. Hence do not hesitate. Rama said to Viswamitra, Our father's behest is that we should obey you without question. Bidden by you and for the general welfare, we shall kill Thetaka. So saying, he strung his bow and twanged it till the forest echoed to its shrill note and the wild animals scattered in all directions in terror. It reached Thetaka in her fastness, filling her with amazement at the audacious intruder who dared enter her domain. Raging with anger, she ran in the direction whence the sound came and sprang on Rama. The battle began. The prince at first thought of cutting off the limbs of the monster and sparing her life. But Thetaka attacked fiercely and, rising in the sky, she rained stones on Rama and Lakshmana. The two princes defended themselves against the attack. The fight continued and Viswamitra cautioned Rama against delay in dealing the death blow to the monster. She deserves no sympathy, he said. The sun is about to set, and remember that at night Rakshasas grow stronger. Do not delay to slay her. Thus advised, Rama decided on killing Thetaka and pierced her chest with a deadly arrow, and the huge, ugly monster fell down, lifeless. The devas cheered, and Viswamitra, filled with joy, embraced Rama and blessed him. With Thetaka's end, the forest was freed from the curse and became beautiful to see. The princes spent the night there, and next morning they proceeded to Viswamitra's ashrama. At dawn the next day, Viswamitra called Rama to his side and blessing him said, I am very happy indeed. What is it that I can do in return for all that you have done? I shall teach you the use of all the astras. So saying, Viswamitra gave Rāmāyaṇam the divine astras which he had obtained through his tapas. Viswamitra taught Rama the use, control and recall of the various divine weapons, and Rama in his turn imparted the knowledge to Lakshmana. As they continued their journey, Rama pointed to a big hill with a lovely forest on its slopes and asked, "Is that the place where we have to go? And who are the evil ones who hinder your yaga? And what should I do to destroy them?" Ramachandra was eager to fight and win the blessings of the sage. "That is the place we are going to," replied Viswamitra. There the Lord Narayana performed tapas, and it was there that he was born as Vamana. It goes by the name of Siddhashrama. Mahabali, son of Virajana and grandson of Prahlada the good Asura, was such a powerful ruler that of him even the devas were afraid. Mahabali had by his deeds acquired the power of Indra himself. Kashyapa and his spouse Aditi, of whom all the gods were offsprings, prayed to Vishnu and begged him to be born as their son and protect Indra and the devas from Mahabali. In answer to the prayers, Vishnu was born of Aditi as Vamana. Vamana in the form of a young student went to the yaga that was being performed by Mahabali, and where all were welcome, to ask for and receive anything they wanted. When Vamana presented himself as a suitor, Mahabali's guru, Sukra, the preceptor of all the Asuras, knew who he really was and warned Mahabali against promising to grant the young Brahmana his request, since indeed he was the Lord Hari in disguise, come to undo him. Mahabali did not pay heed to this. It was his word never to turn down a request. Besides, he was at heart a devotee of the Lord, and felt that he would indeed be blessed if the Lord should deign to accept a gift from him. With a smile, Mahabali bade him ask for what he pleased without hesitation. "All have is at your disposal, money, jewels, the wide earth and all it inherits." Vamana answered that wealth was of no use to him, and all he begged for was 3 paces of ground, as paced by him. The monarch smiled as he looked at the diminutive brahmachari's legs and said, "So be it. Pace and take it." The little bachelor suddenly grew in size into Trivikrama, and with one step measured the earth and with another the entire heavens. And there being no room left for the 3rd step that had been granted, he set his foot on Mahabali's devoted head. In the eyes of God, the head of a Bhaktu is as wide as the earth or the heavens. And Mahabali, whose head was blessed by the touch of Narayana's foot, became one of the 7 immortals of the world. After narrating the story of Mahabali, Viswamitra added, "This is where at first Narayana and later Kashyapa performed tapas, resulting in the incarnation of God as Vamana. In this holy place I live. And here the Rakshasas come and obstruct our worship and our austerities. Your coming here is to end this evil." "So be it," said Rama. The arrival of Viswamitra and the 2 princes was a signal for rejoicing at the ashrama. The rishis offered water and fruits according to custom. Rama told Viswamitra that he might begin the preparations for his yaga immediately, and Viswamitra took the vows that very night. Getting up very early the next morning, the princes went to Viswamitra and asked when the Rakshasas were expected so that they might hold themselves in readiness to receive them. Viswamitra was under a vow of silence, and could not answer, but the rishis, his juniors, told the princes that they should be ceaselessly vigilant for 6 nights and days to safeguard the sacrifice. The princes, fully armed, kept vigil for 6 days and nights. On the morning of the 6th day Rama told Lakshmana, "Brother, now is the time for the enemies to come. Let us be wary." Even as he was saying this, flames shot up from the sacrificial fire, for Agni, the god of fire, knew that the Rakshasas had arrived. As the rites were being performed, there was heard from the sky a great roar. Rama looked up and saw Marija and Subahu and their followers preparing to shower unclean things on the sacrificial fire. The army of Rakshasas covered the sky like a great black cloud. Rama said, "Look, Lakshmana, and let go the Manavastra at Marija." As was intended, it did not kill Marija, but wrapping him up in resistless force hurled him a full 100 yojanas near the sea. With the Agnyastra Rama killed Subahu. And then the two princes utterly destroyed the entire army of Rakshasas. The sky was bright again. Viswamitra was supremely happy at the completion of his yaga. "I am grateful to King Dasharatha," he said. "You have fulfilled the promise, princes. I admire your fortitude. This ashrama has through you become again a scene of success." Siddhashrama. Siddha means success. The next day, Rama and Lakshmana, after their morning prayers, went to Viswamitra and asked for further orders. The purpose of Rama's birth was not unknown to sage Viswamitra. And he knew too the powers of the weapons he had given to Rama. Still, the actual fact when experienced is something more than expectation. Sage Viswamitra was happy beyond words, and his face glowed like a flame. He then thought of the service that he still had to do for Rama. This was the prince's marriage with Sita. The rishis assembled there said to Rama, "We intend proceeding to the kingdom of Vidya, where in the capital city of Mithila, Janaka, the illustrious philosopher king, intends to perform a great sacrifice. All of us are going there, and it will be good if you and the prince, your brother, accompany us. It is proper that the prince of Ayodhya should see the marvelous bow in the court of Janaka." So it was decided, and Rama and Lakshmana went with Viswamitra to Janaka's city.